David Ole Sankok, a Kenyan politician who has been on your screens for quite a while and also a champion for those he calls people with disability. He prides himself to have done a number of pieces of legislation that have targeted their well-being and their visibility. He speaks to us from a different cap today, where he wears it as a member of the East Africa Legislative Assembly, where he says he is now a geopolitician. He speaks on behalf of 8 countries that are in the East Africa community, representing about 350 million people in the region. What opportunities are there for you in this region? And the animosity that we hear between Kenya and some of these countries, how can it be solved? Is it perceived? Is it true? Mheshimiwa Sankok.
Yes, sir.
Karibu kwa KMB Media.
Asante sana Muridhi.
Itakuwa mzuri sana. It will be very good because I know one of the languages that we speak in the whole of the region that unifies us is Swahili.
Yes,
so kwa hivyo hata ule mwenye ako South Sudan anasikia Kiswahili.
Exactly.
Ama anajifunza.
Wameanza kujifunza Kiswahili.
Wanaanza kujifunza. The East African anthem itself is in Swahili.
Exactly.
Yeah, in as much as some of it is in English.
But
kuna ile unifying factor ya Kiswahili.
Swahili is our East African language.
Yes.
And appear it have been adopted by the Pan-African Parliament.
Yes.
As the African language, so that that day we'll have the United States of Africa. We'll have a single language.
And you're working towards the United States of Africa.
Of course.
And you're also alive to the fact that Muammar Gaddafi tried something like that na wakatolewa na watu wengine sitawataja kwa hisho.
Mimi siogopi watanivunja tena wapi. Mimi Mungu alinipanga akanivunja mguu mara ya kwanza. I don't fear them. But we will have the United States of Africa in our lifetime.
And even South Africa has adopted Swahili.
Of course. No, the whole of African region. It is now Swahili is the official language of Africa. It was the official language of East Africa. Now it is the official language of Africa. So one thing that will make us have the United States of Africa is because we already have a language. Yes.
Guys, let's learn together. Tell us more about this East African Legislative Assembly. How different is it from our Kenyan Parliament? What are you canvassing, considering the fact that there are people within that assembly that can't speak Swahili, in as much as Swahili is a unifying language? They speak French, they speak other languages. How do you guys transact business there?
Just for the records, the East African Legislative Assembly is one of the arm of government of the East African Community Economic Bloc, whom we think in that 2032 it will be one state. It is anchored under 4 pillars: the common market pillar, the custom union pillar, the monetary union pillar, and the political union pillar. We have already implemented almost fully 2 pillars. The common market pillar, which of course you have seen that from Mombasa, Nairobi, Malaba, Kampala, Kigali, all the way to DRC is our northern corridor. Our central corridor is from Dar es Salaam to Moshi, to Bujumbura, Kigali, all the way to DRC. So we already have even a network of communication because of the common market. Goods can move freely within our corridors and within the 8 member states. Secondly, we have implemented the custom union pillar, free movement of people. And Muridhi, I'm sure you have, because I've seen you moving up and down throughout the world, you have a passport. And the passport is not a Kenyan passport.
Yes.
It is an East African passport issued in Kenya.
Yes.
Meaning, as you have the national identity card issued in Nyeri, so do a Burundian have an East African passport issued in Burundi. So we already have implemented the free movement of people within our region. We have not implemented fully, although we are on the roadmap, and we have already set all the laws that are required for the roadmap towards the implementation of the monetary union that will give us a single currency named the East African Pesa. And I believe it will be stronger than the dollar. That one, we are sure by 2031 we'll have it. After having a common currency, the East African pesa, then we will now implement the political union pillar that will give us a confederation government. When we went to the East African Legislative Assembly, we realized there was a loophole because we wanted to have an East African federation. And you know, a federal government is stronger, and every other state will lose their sovereignty to the East African government. And since that is an unknown territory, there have been a bit of fear of the big brother attitude. Maybe Kenya will overshadow the other countries when we have a federation. So we decided to amend the treaty, which we did last year, so that we have an East African confederation that will be like the European Union. In the European Union, every country still retain their sovereignty. Spain, Germany, France, yes, all of them have their own autonomy. They have their own sovereignty. So still, because we are not confident and we don't trust each other, we decided to go the route of the East African Confederation. And then after that, we go into a federal government if we develop that level of trust. That will be like the United States of America, which is a federal government. Like the Kenya, it have counties, but the central government maintain all the sovereignty, so no county have sovereignty. So we will now move to that so that we have the East African Federation. So that is where we are.
I'm happy that you're speaking about timelines, and you have mentioned 2031 as a time for us to achieve
the common currency.
The common currency, which is going to be called the East Africa Pesa.
Yes.
Then in 2032, you will be working towards the political pillar. But we have realized that it is one of the biggest challenges that we have as of now, because there are some perceptions that some of our neighbors have, and you have alluded to them, where people do not trust each other. Why not work towards having a political angle and sorting out the political pillar, then coming to do all these other issues? Remember, during the first time when it was being brought together, during the times of Jomo Kenyatta, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, and also from Uganda, there was that issue of having the common currency that was never achieved at that time.
Muredi.
And all this was because of the political pillar.
Muredi, we can't put the cart before the horse. We can never have one government that does not have a single currency.
Okay.
You can imagine Kenya, if Nakuru County had its own currency, Narok had its own currency, it will not work. So the first is to have a common currency. And there are so many laws that have to be put in place. One of them is the Statistic Bureau law, because you can imagine today the Kenya currency is exchanging to the dollar to a rate of 130, 129, 130. The Uganda shillings is exchanging to the dollar at a rate of around 3,500. So harmonizing require some laws in terms of Statistic Bureau, where we will have the East African Central Bank, where such issues. So why we gave ourselves to 2031 is because we are already set the ball rolling, and we are geared towards that one. And once we have a single currency, the political union will be automatic. And because of that mistrust, we treated it early by amending the treaty last year to make sure that it's a political confederation instead of a federation. A confederation means United Republic of Tanzania will remain with their sovereignty. Kenya will remain with their sovereignty, and so the other 6 member states. Therefore, when we maybe stay for almost a transition period of 10 years, we will have developed that trust that no country will be over the other one. We'll be using one common currency. Our people will be moving the way you move from Nakuru to Narok to Nyeri without any barrier whatsoever, without the requirement of passing through the border post. We'll have developed the trust, and we'll have that particular unity of.
And this transition period of 10 years you're speaking about, when does it start, or is it already
2032?
After 2032,
when we have a confederation.
Okay.
So we are transiting to a federation, a stronger government. And in fact, it does not even stop there. Murithi, for your information. When African states got independent, we wanted to unite Africa and remove the colonial boundaries to the United States of Africa. True. But we had two lines of thoughts. One by the late Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, and the other one by Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah wanted to bring Africa together at once. Meaning 54 presidents sitting in a table to understand each other and to sign a treaty. It became so difficult and it was never achieved because you have different cultures, you have different languages. You know IGAD, they are mostly Islamic states. They speak Arabic. You know East Africa is mostly our cultures, you understand, and we speak Swahili. South Africa, the SADC is also another one. But Julius Nyerere wanted us to have strong regional economic blocks that will eventually become the building blocks of the United States of Africa. Yes. We never took Julius Nyerere seriously that time. Now we saw that Julius Nyerere was actually a prophet. That is the only way to go.
You must have these blocks first.
That's why today, East Africa from 3 countries. We are now 8 countries.
Yes.
Ethiopia have already applied. Sudan has also applied. And so on. When I went to East Africa, there were only 5 countries. We have already admitted DRC. We had admitted the Republic of South Sudan. We have recently admitted the Federal Republic of Somalia. So that this East Africa regional bloc become big. SADC become big, and so is IGAD and ECOWAS. And then these 4 regional blocks, it will be easier for 4 heads of states of those regional blocks to sit and understand each other and sign a treaty. Because when you bring watu 54 kwa meza wa kubaliane, hiyo ni
it might take longer.
Ngumzo mtaani. Hakuna kitu itatokezea. But 2 people, 3, 4 maximum, it will be easier. So bringing EAC, IGAD, SADC, and ECOWAS will be so easy. We are strengthening our regional economic blocks for the sake of the East Africa, for the sake of the United States of Africa.
Just for information purposes, is how are you, as the member representatives of the different countries within this institution or this region called the East Africa Community, how are you engaging, and what is the political will from your presidents as it stands now in the push towards becoming one?
Maybe Murithi, before we even go that, so that we can understand what we are dealing with. We are dealing with EAC, economic bloc, which is close to being a country. I told you we have only left around 2 pillars. But still, we have the pillars that are synonymous with your own country, Kenya.
Yes.
We have the 3 arms, just like what you have in Kenya, 3 arms of government. The legislative arm being East Africa Legislative Assembly. The judicial arm being the East Africa Court of Justice. The executive arm of government being the heads of state summit together with the Council of Ministers. Council of Ministers are actually ministers appointed in their respective country in charge of East Africa. They now form the Council of Ministers. The heads of state summit, they also elect their chairman. Currently, it is William Samoei Ruto, who now acts as the president of the East African Economic Bloc. The rest of the president who elected him act as ministers, and their respective ministers whom they are appointed in their countries to be in charge of East Africa are like their sister ministers. So we already have a stand-on government, just like a sovereign state. Again, for information, East African Economic Bloc is the most strategically placed economic bloc in the world and the most progressive. The most progressive in the sense that we have a resident parliament. We also have Pan-African Parliament, is not resident. The members of Pan-African Parliament are like board members of a state corporation. They are actually working in their own country as members of Parliament, and then they just go there for meetings 4 times in a year, just like board of directors or board of managements of schools. The same with SADC, IGAD, and others. But here we have a resident parliament that is fully paid by the economic bloc. I'm not paid by Kenya. The member of parliament representing Burundi is not paid by Burundi. We are paid by East Africa,
where the member states contribute.
So we have a resident parliament. So we are the most progressive economic bloc. We are the most strategic, as I told you, Murithi, because apart from having a market bigger than that one of the United States of America, because we have 350 million people. That is a potential market, yes, bigger than that one of America. America have only 330 million people. Apart from having a tropical climate that is favorable for agriculture, livestock rearing, and fisheries, and name them, forestry, we don't have a desert in our region. We are also bordering the 2 main oceans of the world. To the east, we border Indian Ocean. To the west, we border Atlantic Ocean. To the north, we also border the Gulf of Aden through the Horn of Africa, Somalia. So you can imagine, with this strategic position, we can do business with the Far East, India, China, name them, through the Indian Ocean. We can do business to the Middle East and Europe through the Gulf of Aden. We can do business to the Far West, North America and South America through Atlantic Ocean, that is through Kinshasa. We are also strategically placed in the sense that we have 6,500 kilometers of coastline, meaning our ports can be countless. We have 38 freshwater lakes, big ones, including the second largest freshwater lake in the world, Lake Victoria. The longest and the deepest freshwater lake in the world, Lake Tanganyika. For your information, Lake Tanganyika borders 5 countries. So a port in Lake Tanganyika, you can do business with 5 other states, including DRC, Burundi, Mozambique, and so on. We also have the longest river in the world. It originates from our regional bloc, that is River Nile, passes through Juba. We also have the largest and the second largest water towers in Africa, Congo Belt and the Mau Ranges. We also have the tallest and the second tallest mountains in the world, that is Mount Kilimanjaro and Mount Kenya. I'm telling you, with this economic bloc, I can say the sky is not the limit for EAC. And if Kenyans can take advantage of the available opportunities in terms of job, in terms of business, in terms of even investing in blue economy. Let me take you through a blue economy, because I had a bill which was passed of blue economy. With the blue economy, it is unfortunate that we don't take advantage of it. In terms of transport, first of all, in terms of fishery, fish from China are cheaper at the shores of Lake Victoria than the fish from Lake Victoria that use Nduano to remove. It's unfortunate. In terms of tourism, you'll be forgiven to go to Kisumu and come out after 7 days without seeing Lake Victoria, because we have not strategically placed our hotels and highways in a way that it's
actually
also,
Kisumu is doing that now.
Yeah,
they have already even passed a law in their assembly.
Yes, because it is a tourist attraction. Lake Geneva is a man-made lake. It attracts more than 2 million tourists annually. Yet us, with Lake Victoria that was God-made, we attract no tourists. Instead, we use it to wash our cars and to water our livestock. It's unfortunate. Yeah. So I brought a blue economy bill. First of all, in transport, Murithi.
Yes.
Our forefathers used to travel using water transport, even before colonization. Murithi, water transport is the cheapest and the safest, but we don't utilize it. Murithi, if today we have a port in Kisumu, you can travel to 7 cities without the need of a highway. The need to construct the highway and the need to maintain the highway. You can travel from Kisumu to Mwanza, to Homa Bay, to Kampala, Jinja, Entebbe, name them. And when you use water transport, a vessel that will transport 1,000 people costs 150 million Kenya shillings. For you to transport on road 1,000 people, you need 33 buses. This vessel will have 1 engine. Those 33 buses will have 33 engines. This one vessel will have 1 carbon emission. These 33 will have 33 carbon emissions. This vessel will have 1 captain. These buses will have 33 drivers.
So it's cheaper and safer.
And these buses will require a road that you need to maintain. Do we maintain our water? It is God that maintains them. Murithi is unfortunate that people are moving from Mogadishu along Indian Ocean using roads to Lamu, to Malindi, to Mombasa, to Kwale, all the way to Dar es Salaam, Taga, using roads. While you will have just had a vessel that can carry even your car and you, and then it will move through water that will not be affected by demonstration. They can close the road, they cannot close Lake Victoria, they cannot close Indian Ocean. And then you travel with that vessel. If you are from Lamu, you drop with your car in Lamu, go around Lamu, and then again board the vessel. So,
but Mheshimiwa, you're painting a very rosy picture of an East African community whose time has come.
yes.
But are you trying to tell me that those that have been there before you have never seen it the way you're seeing it?
That one is like asking me, during the scramble of Africa in 1885 to 1985, people did not see the burden, the heavy burden of colonization until 1963 when Jomo Kenyatta came in. You may see, but you don't have the know-how.
So you believe everybody who is in the assembly
We believe
now,
we have the know-how.
you have the know-how.
No.
And these timelines that you have set of 2031 and 2032,
All of us may not.
considering that they are the two most key,
Yes.
are going to be met.
They will
without a doubt.
They will be met. I have no doubt. And we may not all have the know-how. Even when Jomo Kenyatta and Dede Kimathi were in the bush, there were still the home guards, sellouts. Yes, they were there. We still have a few highlands of sellouts, a few of them who don't believe in us. I'm not saying you are one of them, Murithi, but we will achieve it.
You are definitely sure you will
Of course.
achieve. Now, these 8 countries, every country is unique in itself. And you have a rotating parliament where this time you'll be in Arusha, the next time you'll be in Somalia and all that, considering that now Somalia is part of you and all that. What is the uniqueness of these countries? Because I know you're a Kenyan and you know the potential that Kenya has, and considering the fact that it has been said it is the big brother. But there is something unique about these other countries that can bring us together. What opportunities are out there for Kenyans?
Murithi, just to correct you, rotational is the speaker's seat and the heads of state summit chair, and also the secretary seat that are rotational. We have a resident parliament in Arusha.
Yes.
Our headquarters is in Arusha.
Yes.
East African Court of Justice sit in Arusha.
Yes.
Head of State Summit have a whole wing of theirs in Arusha.
Yes.
But for us to bring integration, sometimes we decide to come and sit in
Kenya,
so that
in Somalia,
the
yes.
Kenyans can understand what we are doing. And once we decide to come to Kenya, then there is a forced recess for the parliament that is there to allow the regional parliament to take over and probably stay for 3 weeks or a month, because even the laws we make supersede the local laws, because those are regional laws that must be ratified and then being implemented locally. But we need the East African Economic Bloc for our own survival. And Murithi, let me give you an example. I believe you come from Nyeri?
No, I come from Meru.
You come from Meru. Meru is known for production of miraa. What else?
Bananas.
Bananas.
We also have maize.
Yes.
We have fruits.
Thank you.
It is very agriculturally productive.
Now you can imagine if you were to sell miraa to Meruans only, to people from Meru only, it will be very difficult because everybody have a farm of miraa. Yes?
Yes.
It will be easier for you to sell miraa to people in Narok, and since you are not a pastoralist country, we sell meat to you. That is actually the setup of East Africa. We know Uganda is very good in the production of coffee. They can't consume their own coffee because everybody have coffee. They need this market of 350 million people to be able to offload the surplus in their production. We are known for the production of tea, for instance. We need to offload to another market. So, Murithi, if today you are a pastoralist community, it will be very difficult to sell meat or milk to your neighbors because everybody have. You need the agricultural community to be able to develop a market to offload the surplus that you have. But when we make it a bit regional, then our surplus become very difficult. We can also be able to produce everything. Uganda, Tanzania, the United Republic of Tanzania is known as the best producers of rice. So why don't we allow them produce their rice, export to us, as we export to them what we produce more? South Sudan, Republic of South Sudan, is known to have the best fish in the world. They actually produce a lot of fish. Why don't they offload that fish to a country like Burundi that is not blessed to have a lake or an ocean, so that they can also offload whatever they produce to the Republic of South Sudan? So for our own survival, East Africa community is not only important, but it is something that we must. And I have sworn before the Almighty God that since I am in East Africa, we will achieve all this. And within this duration I have until 2027. That is why we have admitted an extra 3 countries. That is why we have been able to amend the treaty. That is why we have set with my colleagues the ball rolling to be able to achieve whatever we wanted. And the Blue Economy Bill was very strategically to be able to bring this nation together. Because if we move through water, like from moving from Kisumu to Jinja, through River Nile to Juba, is 3,900 kilometers. If you don't need to borrow money to build that highway, you use the water that's already available there. It will not only bring integration, but it will make us efficient, and it will make us get out of the political, socio-economic neocolonialism. Neocolonialism in the sense that we borrow, we can't pay, so they keep on giving us
top-ups, loans,
and give us some conditions. You remember there was condition of LGBTQ, and some of our African countries had nothing to do because they have a lot of money from the donors. That is political, socio-economic neocolonialism. So my Blue Economy Bill was one of those that will free us from the political, socio-economic neocolonialism, because we will not be borrowing to construct highways. Instead, we will use the available highways that God have constructed, called waters. And you know, when you construct and maintain, it's very expensive. I also brought a bill that was also passed on the banning importation of leather products. In East Africa Economic Bloc, we slaughter 11 million cattle only, leave alone the camel, the goats and sheep. Cattle, 11 million. 4 million die because of hunger and drought. So we have 15 million hides from cattle only. 15 million hides from cattle times 20 pairs of shoes, because each hide can produce 20 pairs of shoes, we are able to manufacture in Africa, in East Africa, 300 million pairs of shoes. Unfortunately, we are net importers of leather shoes. We import 91 million shoes into East Africa. Instead
91 million.
Yes. Instead of being net exporters, we are actually net importers. Murithi, I also had a bill of banning importation of furnitures.
Did it pass?
Yes, all of them passed. Because Murithi, this one, I produced myself. I'm a carpenter, by the way, qualified carpenter. Before I went to the university, I went to Narok Youth Polytechnic and trained as a carpenter. So I just call a few boys here because I'm a person with disability. So, but the hands are not disabled, so that we can be able to produce such chairs. The one you are sitting on, the one I'm sitting on, until I wrote my name myself using a chisel. What I'm telling you, for you to have a factory of furniture, you need close to 10,000 to buy a randa, to buy a hammer, and to buy nails, and maybe clear furnish. So what I did is unfortunate that with the largest and the second largest water towers in Africa, the Congo Belt and the Mao Ranges, we are importing furniture from Dubai, which forests a desert have.
So it's also about the marketing aspect.
It's about the marketing, and that's why we are, as an economic bloc, we want, because we can be self-sufficient. I've told you countries that are good in pastoralism, countries that are good in rice production, countries that are good in fish production. So once we close our economic bloc, we can be able to attract investors and be able to supply locally and geofence this particular market that is bigger than the market of America. 350 million people.
Against 330.
Yes.
You have spoken about the bills that you have done, and to every Kenyan who's watching us would actually appreciate the efforts that you have done. But there are those other bills that have been done by your colleagues that you believe are also working towards the coming together of the East Africa community. What are they, and how do they benefit us?
There's a Statistic Bureau bill, which was sponsored by somebody from the United Republic of Tanzania, which is geared towards having a common currency. Although I also had a bill on using local currency within the inter-country trade among the 8 member country as a precursor to the
introduction of the
common currency. Yes, exactly. Because it's unfortunate, Breathy. Aki, we are funny. Go to a hotel in Nairobi or in Masai Mara. They will tell you their price in US dollars.
US dollars.
So I ask you a question. Can you go to America and get a hotel in a price in Kenya shillings?
No. Even those ones that are owned by Kenyans will not take the Kenyan shilling.
So my bill was passed that for inter-country trade, we use our own currency.
But is it implementable really?
It will be implemented.
Because you're going around you go around the 8 member states, huh?
That is a precursor, yes.
But now, if the bill has been passed, has it been adopted? Because I'm also realizing there is a problem in between the passage of these bills
and adoption of this
and
bill.
adoption in the member states, which is also slowing down some of the timelines that you're putting.
Yes, it is a process, because once we have passed the bill,
it needs to be ratified in the parliament.
It needs, first of all, to be assented to by the heads of states, all of them. And then once we have assented it, it will be ratified in parliament. It may take time, but as far as you have set the ball rolling, and you are able to convince the way I have convinced you, because a member of parliament,
I am actually convinced.
Like
I'm happy. I'm learning today. I'm actually learning so much.
So are members of parliament, because a member of parliament is not from Ethiopia. It's just an individual like you. Once we convince them, they ratify them, and then we will have whatever we wanted. Because Murithi, sometimes I sympathize with us Africans. No wonder somebody told me an African, an Indian, an Asian, and a white person went to heaven to ask for favors. Then an Indian was told, what do you want? Hey, taka biashara. They were told you'll have hardwares all over. the white man was asked, what do you want? He said, I want nataka akili. He was told, you will fly above the clouds, you will walk on top of water like Jesus Christ, you will even have underground subways because of your knowledge. And you will even visit the moon because of your knowledge. And they were given knowledge. And then the Asians were asked, what do you want? He said, we want oil and gas. They were told, your rivers will not be full of water, they will be full of oil. And then the African was asked, and you, what do you want? He told, you know, these guys asked me where God is. And I told them I know where God is. So I brought them. So mjinga kama angeomba hata uchawi. Afadhali.
But there are people who believe that we are...
so it's funny.
Your analogy might be wrong because everywhere where Africans have gone have actually done better than the whites.
But once they are outside Africa. Now, Murithi, take this scenario. I'm buying a car from Japan.
Yes.
I have to convert my Kenya shillings into US dollars at a fee. And then once I'm in Japan, I convert the US dollars into Japanese yen at a fee.
So money is lost.
To the American. Pilipili wasio ila inawawashia nini? How the Japanese, they are the manufacturer of the car. I'm the buyer. So if we lose the two of us, it's okay. But where does the American come in?
Yeah.
Today, if I want to go to Uganda, and you have traveled to Uganda, the first thing you'll do here is to convert your Kenya shillings into US dollars. US dollars. And then once you are in Uganda, and you are buying maize in Uganda, that mama mboga does not understand the US dollar. So you have again to convert the US dollars into Uganda shilling at a fee.
No. I have driven to Uganda.
Yes.
Myself all the way to Kampala. And there is no point where they needed me to change it into dollars. So once I got to the border in Busia,
you can exchange.
I exchanged my money and I was given more because the Kenyan currency is a bit stronger.
Yes.
And I used that money there. In Uganda, to tell you some of those things that you're saying are being implemented, I have used my Kenyan money in a Ugandan hotel.
Exactly.
Because they believe that it is one of the strongest currencies. So this matter, probably where we are getting it wrong, is when we are dealing with countries that are outside our region, where we have to convert it into the dollars. Yet this person in Japan must trust the fact that the moment I change it here in Kenya and put it into their money, then I should not lose more.
My brother, you are now speaking.
You are converting me.
And I'm telling you, whatever you have said that you can convert the Kenya shillings into Uganda shillings at the border into Tanzania shilling at the border and being accepted, our Kenya shillings being accepted because our M-Pesa is even in Uganda, is in Rwanda, is in everywhere, is because of the legislation that we have done. We have said, and that is why I told you, my bill is actually any trade, inter-country trade within EAC, they either accept their own currency or accept my currency as a Kenyan. So if I go to Tanzania, they have the option. They cannot ask me about the US dollars or euros. They accept their Ugandan shillings or accept my Kenya shillings.
So the first thing is,
by my currency.
If I am moving from Kenya to any of the 8 states,
yes,
and I go to one or any of these places where we change money, the bureaus.
Yes.
The first thing that I must see is that I can exchange any of the 8 currencies.
That is the aim of my bill, which was passed, and now slowly, through, although it have not been ratified by all countries, but I hear United Republic of Tanzania ratify immediately. Once we convince everybody else, even Uganda ratify, once we convince everybody, then that will be. And again, we'll go a step forward, further, and ask the Japanese to either accept their Japanese yen or the Kenya shillings, if they are dealing with us. Let me give you, Murithi, an example, a very live example. During our time in Parliament, during the time of Uhuru Kenyatta, we borrowed, let's assume we borrowed 1 billion US dollars from China. That time it was a rate of 95 shillings to the dollar. So that was 950 million. Yes? 95, that is 950 billion.
Billion.
Isn't it? 950 billion. Because we borrowed 1 billion US dollars. Now, without the interest, all of a sudden, during the time of Uhuru, the US dollar was exchanging to the Kenya shillings at 165. So our loan skyrocketed to 1.6 trillion without interest, just because of
the changes in
dollars. So these people are actually political, socio-economic new colonizers. They are still colonizing us. You can imagine, you have borrowed 1 billion US dollars. That is 995 billion Kenya shillings. 950 billion. Is it 950 billion?
Billion, yes, it's 950 billion.
Kenya shillings. And then because of the change in the rate of the currency, we have 1.6 trillion.
So how does your bill cure that, even in us trying to trade
our
in
bill
our common
cure
currencies?
That. Our bill my bill will cure in this manner, that if the Chinese have to give us loan, let them give us loan in their Chinese currency or in our Kenyan currency. Full stop. Don't tell us about the dollars, because otherwise these people will colonize us forever.
But isn't their currency also subject to the changes in rates?
Of course, the changes will be, if the changes in rates in the Chinese country, their currency changes, it's a bit understandable. But you can imagine a third party. You can imagine I'm doing business with you.
True, true.
And it is, what was the name of this lady?
Nora.
It is Nora who will now determine how the rate go. If they want to kill the Chinese, they make the dollar exchange to the Kenya shillings at 50 shillings. What will happen? The loan that we'll be having is 50 billion instead of 90 billion. You see how they can just joke.
So it is the same as what we are having here in the country in these people called Shylocks.
Exactly.
Who will determine when you will pay and how they will keep on changing the rates.
I can authoritatively say that the United States of America, through their US dollar, have become the greatest Shylocks in the world. And I will do everything possible to deny them that opportunity and to cure that opportunity as far as Africa is concerned.
Back to the question that I asked you about painting a very rosy picture. You, as members of the East African Legislative Assembly, you have done your bit in passing the loans, but in passing the laws. But then again, we are met with a problem that you have verily alluded to, and it is the problem of the mindset.
Yes?
Because I am looking at it and it seems like we really need to heavily convince ourselves. What you're telling us is not so much within the Kenyan setup. Unfortunately, the media that we have is not giving enough time for people to understand what you guys are doing. And I believe it's time that session was created so that in as much as you're changing the laws, let also the mindset change.
Murithi, that is why when you call me and say that you need an interview with me, I gladly granted the interview because I want to change that mindset. Particular mindset. Because I'm sorry. We are saying on another day we are going to Canaan. Today we are saying we are on the road to Singapore. Why not Singapore being on the road to Kenya? Why not Canaan coming to Kenya? You know, that inferiority complex mindset is what I, as David Ole Sankok, will never accept. Let Singapore move to us. Let there be roads in Singapore towards Kenya. Because we can do it locally.
So we have to
and
believe in ourselves.
Our local problem require local solution, not imported local solutions. No, we can't copy-paste what the setup of Singapore, the population of Singapore, the climate of Singapore, the backbone of the economy in Singapore is totally different from ours. The backbone of the economy of Canaan, although I don't know if there is a country called Canaan, Maybe they meant Canada, you know, C and whatever they
No. Canada is a place.
You remember this guy?
You know, Canaan in the Bible was a land of milk and honey.
You remember this guy called Miguna?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, he said that he was in NASA.
Yes.
So I was in Jubilee that time. So when we heard that they want to take Kenyans to Canaan, we Googled. We did not see the country called Canaan. So we decided to deport him to Canada so that he can go and prepare the way John the Baptist prepared the way for us to move there. Because if you are socio-economically colonized, we can't accept you, because one potato rot, it will make the IRS to rot. So we decided, now that you believe in it was Canaan, but we did not get in the Google map Canaan, so we took him to Canada. Anyway, it was closer to.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that our local problems, our local economic solutions are here with us.
You know, Mheshimiwa, the other thing that I would look at is that let us look at the politicians. You are a politician.
Yes, of course.
And that is what sponsored you to go there to the East African Legislative Assembly.
Yes, I was elected by members of
MP
parliament.
Is a politician.
Yes.
But then there is the aspect that a politician must also sell what they believe in. We have seen you selling more of UDA than what you have gone to do there. Because this interview, when I called for it, I asked for an interview on the East African Legislative Assembly. Whether you sat overnight and crammed what you're telling me here today, we have seen you give more of UDA and the politics that is local than tell us what you have done in the East African Legislative Assembly.
What have I given you about UDA?
Today,
I have not spoken about
this interview
UDA. Yes.
is more about the East Africa. That is what we agreed.
Yes.
But when you get the microphone, minimal are the times that we hear you tell us of what you have done in the East Africa. Because what you are telling me here today,
yes,
you have convinced me.
Have I mentioned anything to do with UDA?
Not today.
Yes.
Because the interview was not about UDA,
yes,
and the political setup. But what you have told me here today needs to be told at every available opportunity when you get a microphone, so that you can change the mindset of others.
Murithi, today I have known you since the time I was in parliament. You are in the media center. You are in NTV, I think.
Yes.
And you have been having interviews, but every now and then you come well prepared. And I know you came today well prepared, thinking that I'll speak more of UDA, so it is in your mind. And Murithi, if you have followed me recently, I have not been in the political scene in Kenya. I have not been the campaign trail. Today my party leader is in Nyanza. The other day he was in the mountain. The other day he was wherever he was. I think you have not seen me again in those, the way you used to see me during the time that I was a local member of parliament. Simply because I've been given a responsibility. And I will genuinely safeguard that responsibility that I've been given. That is why today I am against the road to Singapore. It is Singaporean to create roads towards Kenya, because we will improve Kenya and we will change Kenya. That is why you have seen me on occasionally saying I'm against export of laborers. Yes, because we can create
jobs within the East Africa community.
Within the East African community. And whatever I'm doing, the banning of importation of leather products. Do you know, Murithi, in Switzerland, in Australia, the hide from a cow is more expensive than the meat from that cow. Because one hide can make 20 pairs of shoes. Some of the ministers you have seen displaying their shoes of 1 million. The cheapest is actually 2,000, the one for school-going kids. So on average, it is 10,000. So 10,000 times 20, it can easily bring us 200,000 Kenya shillings, while the cow, you sold it at 50,000. So the hide is more expensive than the cow. Once I ban the importation, those who are selling as the factories that were selling us shoes from Switzerland, we lack the market. But they know there is availability of raw materials here in East Africa. Though they will set up those factories here in East Africa. They will create jobs for our youth instead of exporting them to go and work in their factories there and again export our raw leather to go and manufacture them there.
Yes.
So it is actually our youth who work in the factory of leather industry. It is our leather, raw leather, that goes and work. And that's why when you see my bill, it was banning of importation of leather products and exportation of raw leather outside East Africa. Because that is how to create
employment
jobs within.
Yeah.
I've told you a factory of furnitures. We want to ban importation of furnitures.
And yet Congo here has so many trees. Actually, their forest cover is very big.
We can go to Congo and have a very huge industries that produce furnitures and will be net exporters of furnitures, not net importers. Murithi, today, you told me maybe I have cram. I don't cram. They are there because I'm passionate and I'm a Pan-Africanism.
And that's why you have even changed your clothing from the green you were wearing in the National Assembly of Kenya to blue to represent
the East Africa. Because
and even the logo itself is there. Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki.
Yes. Now, Murithi, you know, in Africa, we are food insecure. In Africa, not even in South Africa. And you know how many acres of land do we have in Africa? 7.5 billion acres of arable land. Do you know, Murithi, we have 30,500 kilometers of coastline in the African continent.
Yes.
Meaning we can access seafood to feed our population. Murithi, we are within the tropical climate, meaning our days and nights are almost equal.
Yes.
Meaning we enjoy a very favorable climate. We don't have heat waves, we don't have winter. We can plant our food crops throughout the year, and yet we are net importers of food, not net exporters. Our land that you think is a desert or semi-arid areas only require rain, only require water. Instead of depending on rain-fed agriculture, we can easily use gravity because we have water above. Water that comes from Mount Kilimanjaro is 3,000 meters above sea level. Water from Aberdare is 3,000 meters above sea level. You can channel that water using gravity. Just the way I've channeled water from my story building towards all the rooms that are in that story building. I can easily channel the water that is in Mao Ranges, in the Congo Belt, in Mount Kenya, Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Elgon, all those mountains towards our semi-arid and arid regions using only PVC pipes.
Mheshimiwa, we have spoken about the easy things. What you have said is easily agreeable across the platform. We have, however, seen Kenyans who just cross over to Namanga, and the moment they get into the neighboring country that is Tanzania, they are met with challenges. Number one, you cannot go beyond 50 kilometers per hour, you'll be arrested. Number two, the moment some of those people hear that you're Kenyan and you want to do business, they shy away. You go to Uganda, some of these challenges meet you. So, in my earlier question, I had asked you about dealing with the largest problem, which is the political problem, then everything else will fall into place. We have seen some of our influencers who've spoken about their experiences in the neighboring countries. Kenyans in themselves are outspoken and also very ruthless when it comes to business. How do we deal with this, considering that the biggest problem, however much you deal with all these others, the common currency, the analogy of the 33 buses and the 1 million people that needs to be carried by water, as long as we do not have the political goodwill that you've said we'll have to wait until 2032 when you will not be in that assembly, then we will be doing our people a disservice.
I know one of the things you are going towards, Murithi, because I can read your mind, is towards what happened to Mother Karua, the likes of, was it Mwangi? Who is
I have not gone to the political interference.
Anyway.
That one I will not agree to.
Anyway.
I am talking about a normal Kenyan like me,
Yes.
who will go to the other country seeking to do business. But the bottlenecks that will meet me, I'm not talking about interference, because you have been very elaborate
That
in the question.
every country have their own sovereignty.
That one I will not allude to.
And for me to be a legislator in the East African community,
You must
and that is
respect.
why you don't see me nowadays in local politics, is because I have to read 8 constitutions and understand them, and the treaty.
And
that is a
respect them.
total of 9.
Yes.
Respect them. Whenever I make the laws, I align my laws into the 8 constitutions and the treaty. The treaty is the constitution of the East African Community Economic Bloc. So I have 9 constitutions that are piled up in my head.
And Mheshimiwa, that's why I will come back to my question.
So
I will not accept the interference on the sovereignty of a different country.
Exactly.
I am talking about a normal Kenyan who wants to come out today and go to Tanzania and set up business. But then again, there will be that foreigner tag that does not need, in as much as there is legislation, that foreigner tag will keep him very much away.
I was coming to that. So as if you understand the constitution of the 8 respective member states that have their sovereignty, the term limit in Kenya and Tanzania of a president are known. There is no term limit in Rwanda, probably, and Uganda. You can't say why. Any election dispute is taken to the Supreme Court in Kenya and the Court of Appeal. In Tanzania, of course, the head of the electoral body is actually perceived to be equivalent to the judge of the Court of Appeal. So any decision made is final, just the way our Court of Appeal, any decision made is final. And we have to respect their sovereignty. And if there is some dispute that we need foreign interference, it should be done in a structured manner. We all had our own fair share in 2007, 2008 post-election violence. But it was a structured manner that we invited Benjamin Mkapa and Kofi Annan. So, Mother Karua, please take a break. If they need you, it is through a structured manner, not through exploitation of activism. Having said that, Murithi, if the constitution of Tanzania say that in their highways is 50 kilometers per hour, why do you want to export the constitution of Kenya that allow you 80 kilometers per hour? And they have not questioned the rationale of you saying 80 kilometers per hour and putting speed limit at 80, and then they have put their speed limit at 50. Why do you question their constitution instead of them questioning our constitution? Once we agree to become one country,
you must respect the
and
other.
Then we set the speed limit of the East African highways, and it will be uniform. But before that, please, when you go to Tanzania, respect their constitution, register your business the way they want it registered. They will treat you as East African residents, just the way we treat them as East African residents. And there is preferential treatment of their own citizens who pay taxes for you to have even passed through that road. From you who pay your taxes to make roads in Kenya. Once we become a country, then we'll pay taxes that will even make the business environment in Tanzania favorable. But because we have not paid taxes, they will be treated preferentially more than you, just the way we do that. You can't tell me. You remember I had the same problem. When people were saying there were a lot of persons with disability begging in our streets who are crawling without wheelchairs. So I told them, I found almost 10,000 of them are from neighboring countries. I can't use Kenyan taxes to buy for them wheelchairs or to give them any benefit that is given to persons with disability. Let us take them back. But there was a structured manner of taking them back. You know, you can't just deport them, because we have not even deported our refugees who are not even persons with disability. Refugees with disability is even difficult to do.
Even in this push, and in the fears that I have expressed, probably with fears from other Kenyans, do you believe we are going to achieve the political goodwill to implement these fantastic ideas that you're giving us?
Just the way you are, Murithi, there were people who never believed that we will get independence in 1963. There were the home guards. There were the sellouts. There were those people who used to go and tell the white people who were planning, and what Mama were planning, and what was the Majimaji rebellion were planning. So the doubting Thomases will always be there. But I assure you, even with the achievement we have achieved within these 2.5 years that I have been in the East African community, to an extent of even General Yoweri Museveni, and I'll give you that photo, that he framed it and gave it to me personally, that in 1963 it was supposed to achieve a federation of East Africa 30 years. We were 60 years late. He told me, please carry on and make sure that we achieve it in our lifetime. I am sure we will achieve it, and I will pray for General Yoweri Museveni so that he can live longer to see me achieving the same dream. He actually passed it to me. We will achieve, and I can assure you that
East Africa community will be a reality.
It will be a reality, and it will be a confederation, because I knew where the loophole was, why it was not achieved, because it was a federation that every country will lose their sovereignty. I don't want any country to lose their sovereignty at a go. I want them, first of all, to be a transition of a confederation. Once they develop that enough trust, then we'll have a federation, maybe a transition of 10 years. You are also asking me why I wear this one. I'm very loyal to East Africa. While I was in Kenya, I was wearing the green suit, which actually was born in 3 schools of thoughts. One, it was for branding purposes. Any business, any person who has succeeded in this world must brand. And you must be confident enough to say, yes, I have wronged you, and it is me who have wronged you, not anybody else. So you can easily identify me anywhere, and I have branded. And I can give you an example. Safaricom, you see the color without reading the name, you already know. That's DHL is yellow, you see the color, you already know it is DHL without even reading the wording, because of branding. Jomo Kenyatta branded using a fly whisker. Uhuru Kenyatta did not have to brand, because Kenyatta was already a brand. Moi branded using a rungu. This guy called Gideon does not have to brand, because Moi was already a branded by his father. Jaramogi Odinga branded himself using that coastal cape, and Raila did not have to brand himself, or Winnie does not have to brand herself, because Odinga is already a brand. Ruto branded himself using that Kenya flag cape, and Nick Ruto does not have to brand himself, because Ruto is already a brand. Myself, I did not have a father who have branded the name Sankok, but already you know Sankok is a brand. That is why when you saw me with blue, you said, why did you change? Because already you know my brand. You were there. I also had the colors of the Kenyan flag that time, because I was a Kenyan member of parliament. I must believe in my country. I don't believe in Singapore. I don't believe in Canada. I believe in my own country. So that is why I had the flag of Kenya. And after all, Martin Luther King Jr. said, we have to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. I'm not a fool, and I did not apply to be born a Kenyan.
So Sankok cannot be cheeky anywhere. People will always know that he's wearing.
It is Sankok.
Even if Sankok is going to that lava's nest,
they'll know.
They will know it is
Sankok I've got.
Because you will have dressed.
Yes. So destiny brought us together, and we have to learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Now I'm in East Africa. I have to be loyal to East Africa. You have given me a job. You are paying me. I have to work towards East Africa. And this is one way, because that is why you have identified. Somebody else identified, and they associate themselves with East Africa.
David Ole Sankok, a geopolitician who says he is now loyal to the East Africa community and he will do whatever it takes to make sure that his assignment sent by Kenyans to the East Africa Legislative Assembly will be achieved. And during our lifetime, we will see some of these changes that include the usage of a common currency and a political union that brings all the presidents on one table, discussing the matters that do not take us to Singapore, but Singapore coming to us. Mheshimiwa, asante sana for your time and for believing in KMB Media to tell us and to speak to Kenyans through our medium and tell us the opportunities that are there. I am convinced. I will not lie to you that I came here prepared, but I was here more about learning, because you can only learn through experience, and you have lived through that experience that explains the unity that is brought about by the eight countries that make up the East Africa community and the other 2 that are pending to join. Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa.
Thank you, sir.